February 23rd, Tuesday, Mark chapter 12, 1 through 12. Jesus then began to speak to them in parables. A man planted a vineyard. He put a wall around it, dug a pit for the winepress, and built the watchtower. Then he rented the vineyard to some farmers and moved to another place. At harvest time, he sent a servant to the tenant to collect from them some of the fruit of the vineyard. But they seized him, beat him, and sent him away empty-handed. Then he sent another servant to them. They struck this man on the head and treated him shamefully. He sent still another, and that one they killed. They sent many others. Some of them they beat, others they killed. He had one left to send, a son whom he loved. He sent him last of all, saying, "They will respect my son." But the tenants said to one another, "This is the heir. Come, let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they took him and killed him, and threw him out of the vineyard. What then will the owner of the vineyard do? He will come and kill those tenants and give the vineyard to others. Haven't you read this passage of Scripture? The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Then the chief priest, the teachers of the law, and elders looked for a way to arrest him, because they knew he had spoken the parable against them. But they were afraid of the crowd, so they left him and went away. Having outmaneuvered the religious leaders on the question of his authority, Jesus now goes on the offensive by telling a parable that challenges their authority. The parable of the tenants represents an important narrative turn in Mark's story. Back in chapter 4, Jesus had explained to his disciples that he spoke in parables to reveal the secret of the kingdom to them and to conceal the message from those who, because of their hard heart, were rejecting the message. He spoke to these outsiders in parables so that they may be ever seeing but never perceiving, and ever hearing but never understanding. Otherwise, they might turn and be forgiven. This is all citing in Isaiah. Ironically, while Jesus had previously spoken in parables to hide the truth from his opponent, he now tells one that reveals the truth to them and that they fully understand. And it is this parable that provokes them to plot against him. With the parable, Jesus is guiding the story to its narrative climax. The parable contains allegorical features and draws its imaginary from Isaiah's song of the vineyard. Doubts have been raised about the authenticity of this parable because of its allegorical features. Where it is true that most of Jesus' parables have but one point to make, with the details having no separate significance, Jesus did use allegory on occasion. There is no compelling reason to doubt the genuineness of this parable. Its setting fit well the situation of Galilee in Jesus' day, with its great landed estate and the inevitable tension between absentee owners and the dispossessed peasantry. The absence of many references to the vindication or resurrection of the Son suggests that the parable was not created by the early church. Only if we assume that Jesus could not have spoken about his own mission or predicted his own death must the parable be judged in authenticity.